Let me ask you something. How many mornings have you started the exact same way for years? You wake up, you shuffle into the kitchen, you pour a cup of coffee, and without thinking, without reading a label, you add your creamer. That slow swirl, that comforting color change, that familiar smell. It feels harmless, comforting even. But what if that one small daily habit, the one you trust the most, is quietly working against your health? Most people worry about sugar in desserts, salt in canned soup, fat in fast food. Almost nobody worries about coffee creamer, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because creamers aren't just about taste anymore. They're chemical formulas engineered for shelf life, addiction, and profit. Not for your heart, your blood pressure, or your blood sugar. If you're over 55, this matters more than you realize. Your body processes sugar differently now. Your liver and kidneys work harder. Your medications, blood pressure pills, heart meds, diabetes drugs are finely balanced. And many popular creamers are designed in ways that spike blood sugar before breakfast, interfere with blood pressure medication, increase inflammation in aging joints and arteries, create energy crashes that leave you exhausted by noon, all before you've taken your second sip of coffee. That's not an exaggeration, that's chemistry. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Creamer companies count on you not reading the label. They hide dangerous ingredients behind tiny serving sizes, words like natural and sugar free flavors that distract your brain from what your body is actually receiving. You might be doing everything right, eating better, taking your meds, following your doctor's advice, and still wondering, why is my blood sugar harder to control? Why is my blood pressure creeping up? Why do I feel tired so early in the day? For many seniors, the answer starts right here in the coffee cup. Today, we're going to break this down calmly and clearly. No fear tactics, no complicated science, just the truth. We'll expose 9 coffee creamers you should avoid, especially if you care about heart health, diabetes control, kidney function, medication, effectiveness. And at the end, we'll show you 2 options that are actually safe, so you don't have to give up your morning ritual. Because this isn't about taking comfort away, it's about protecting it. If you've ever thought it's just creamer, how bad could it be? Stay with me. And if you appreciate clear, honest explanations like this, take a moment to subscribe. It helps more people your age avoid hidden health traps hiding in plain sight. Now let's start with why creamers are especially risky for seniors, and why the label almost never tells the full story. Why coffee creamers are extra dangerous for seniors. Here's something most people are never told. Coffee creamer is not treated like real food by your body, especially as you age. When you're younger, your liver, kidneys, and digestive system can handle small chemical loads without obvious symptoms. But after 55, those same systems slow down. That's normal aging. And it changes everything. Most creamers hit your body first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach. That means faster absorption, stronger blood sugar spikes, greater interaction with medications. For seniors taking blood pressure meds, cholesterol drugs, diabetes medication, or heart medicine, this timing is critical. Many popular creamers contain hidden sugars that spike glucose before breakfast, phosphate additives that stress aging kidneys, artificial fats that interfere with cholesterol control, emulsifiers and thickeners that inflame the gut. Even worse, labels are designed to mislead. A serving size might be listed as 1 tablespoon, but most people pour 2 or 3 without realizing it. That triples sugar, sodium, chemical additives. And because it's liquid, your brain doesn't register it as food. You don't feel full, so your body doesn't slow absorption the way it would with solid food. For seniors, that means blood sugar roller coasters, morning fatigue by 10 or 11 a.m., harder to control blood pressure, increased inflammation. Doctors often adjust medications when these numbers get worse, never suspecting the problem is coming from something as small as creamer. But it adds up. 1 cup a day becomes 365 servings a year, thousands of teaspoons of sugar, constant low-level chemical exposure. This is why creamers deserve scrutiny, especially for older adults who are doing everything else right. Now let's talk about the first major offender, the one sitting in millions of refrigerators right now. Coffee Mate Original. Avoid at all costs. Coffee Mate Original feels safe. It's been around forever. You've probably used it for years. The red and white bottle feels familiar, almost comforting. That's exactly why it's dangerous. Coffee Mate Original isn't cream at all. There's no real dairy inside. What gives it that smooth, creamy feel is a mix of partially hydrogenated oils, sodium caseinate, a milk derivative, not milk, emulsifiers and stabilizers. Here's the issue seniors need to understand clearly. Partially hydrogenated oils are trans fats. The FDA tried to eliminate them, but manufacturers found a loophole. If a serving contains less than zero point 0.5 grams, they're allowed to list it as zero. But almost no one uses just 1 tablespoon. 2 or 3 pours, especially in a large mug, push you well past that limit every single morning. For seniors managing heart disease, high cholesterol, past strokes, blood pressure issues, this is a serious problem. Trans fats increase LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, while lowering HDL, the protective kind. They also increase inflammation inside blood vessels, making arteries stiffer over time. And then there's sodium caseinate. Despite sounding harmless, it can interfere with blood pressure medication, trigger digestive upset, cause fluid retention in sensitive individuals. Many seniors report morning bloating, swollen fingers, blood pressure readings creeping higher, and they never connect it to their coffee because it's just creamer. The texture feels smooth, the taste feels mild. There's no obvious warning sign, but that's exactly how ultra processed foods are designed: shelf stable, addictive, cheap to produce. Your body pays the price while the company collects profit. Coffee Mate Original isn't helping your coffee, it's quietly working against your heart, your circulation, and your medications every single morning. And unfortunately, it's only the beginning. Next up, a creamer that smells like a bakery but behaves like a sugar bomb. International Delight French Vanilla, avoid. This one smells like comfort. You twist the cap, and that sweet vanilla aroma fills the kitchen. It reminds you of bakeries, cafes, and slow mornings. It feels harmless, even pleasant. But International Delight French Vanilla is one of the biggest sugar traps in the entire creamer aisle, especially for seniors. The first major problem is high fructose corn syrup. This isn't regular sugar. It's processed in a way that puts direct strain on the liver, not the bloodstream first. As we age, the liver becomes slower and less efficient, especially for seniors managing cholesterol, fatty liver, or taking multiple medications. That means faster insulin resistance, higher triglycerides, worse blood sugar control. And here's the part most people miss: creamer sugar hits before breakfast, often on an empty stomach. So instead of a gentle rise, your glucose spikes sharply, forcing your pancreas to overreact. Then comes the crash: fatigue, shakiness, irritability, brain fog, sometimes before lunchtime. Now add the second issue: artificial flavor chemicals. That vanilla scent, it's not vanilla beans. It's lab-engineered compounds, including substances linked to lung irritation and respiratory sensitivity. Seniors with asthma, COPD, or even seasonal breathing issues often report chest tightness, morning coughing, shortness of breath, and they never think to blame the creamer. Then there's carrageenan. It's used to thicken the creamer and give it that silky texture. But research links carrageenan to gut inflammation, especially in older adults with sensitive digestion. Seniors frequently report stomach cramps, urgent bathroom trips, bloating that lasts for hours, and because it's just coffee, they never connect the dots. Let's talk numbers for a second. Most people use 3 tablespoons, not one. That's roughly 18 grams of sugar before food. Before medication is fully kicked in, that's more sugar than many desserts. Before 9 a.m., International Delight promises cafe flavor and cozy mornings. What it actually delivers is metabolic stress, digestive irritation, and blood sugar chaos, cup after cup, year after year. And unfortunately, the next one is even more deceptive. Coffee Mate Hazelnut, avoid. Hazelnut sounds wholesome. The bottle shows roasted nuts. The liquid looks rich and indulgent. You expect something natural. Here's the truth: there is not a single hazelnut in Coffee Mate Hazelnut. Zero. The flavor comes entirely from artificial compounds designed to trick your brain into thinking you're getting something real. But that's not the worst part. This creamer contains titanium dioxide. Yes, the same whitening agent used in paint. While still allowed in the US, the European Union banned it from food after studies linked it to DNA damage and potential cancer risk. Seniors already have reduced detox capacity, meaning these microscopic particles stay in the body longer. Your kidneys have to filter them. Your immune system has to manage them. Day after day, cup after cup. Then come corn syrup solids. This is sugar in powdered form, absorbed even faster than liquid sugar. For seniors managing diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance, this is especially dangerous. Many people notice something strange with this creamer. After a few minutes, a shimmering, oily film appears on top of the coffee. That's not normal. That's separating hydrogenated oils, a visual sign of trans fats breaking apart. If you've ever thought, why does my coffee look greasy? Now you know. Those oils contribute to artery inflammation, increased LDL cholesterol, reduced blood vessel flexibility. All things seniors are actively trying to avoid. And yet the label feels so safe, so familiar, so ordinary. That's how ultra processed foods survive. They don't hurt you fast, they hurt you quietly. Coffee Mate Hazelnut isn't giving you nutty indulgence. It's giving you chemical flavoring, hidden trans fats, and particles your body was never designed to process. And if you think switching to sugar free fixes the problem, next we expose one of the most misleading diabetic friendly creamers on the market Coffee Mate. Sugar free French vanilla, avoid. This one is especially dangerous because it feels like the responsible choice. The front of the bottle proudly says sugar free. Green accents, clean fonts, a quiet promise that you're doing the right thing, especially if you're diabetic, pre diabetic, or watching your weight. But sugar free does not mean risk free. In many cases, it's worse. Coffee Mate Sugar Free French Vanilla replaces sugar with artificial sweeteners, primarily sucralose and acesulfame potassium. Here's what most seniors are never told: these sweeteners do not act like sugar in the body, they confuse it. Recent studies show artificial sweeteners can disrupt gut bacteria, increase insulin resistance, make blood sugar harder to control over time. So instead of helping diabetes, they often make it worse. Your body tastes sweetness and prepares for sugar that never arrives. Insulin is released anyway. Blood sugar drops too low, then rebounds. That roller coaster leaves seniors feeling weak, shaky, foggy, irritable. And many mistake those symptoms for just getting older. Now add the gut issue. This creamer also contains carrageenan and cellulose gels, which thicken the liquid and create that creamy mouthfeel. In aging digestive systems, these ingredients often trigger severe bloating, cramping, irregular bowel movements, nighttime discomfort. Seniors with IBS, diverticulosis, or sensitive stomachs frequently report symptoms starting only after switching to sugar-free creamers. And here's the part nobody talks about. Artificial sweeteners keep your brain addicted to sweetness. Even without calories, they activate dopamine, the same reward chemical as sugar. So instead of retraining your taste buds, you stay hooked. You crave sweeter foods later in the day. You snack more. You feel less satisfied overall. The product promised control. What it delivers is metabolic confusion, digestive stress, and long-term glucose instability. If your doctor ever said, watch artificial sweeteners, this is exactly why. And unfortunately, the next option pretends to be healthy in a different way. Silk Sweet and Creamy Almond Milk Creamer, avoid. This one tricks even careful shoppers. The carton looks clean, modern, plant-based. It feels like a health upgrade. After all, almonds are heart healthy, right? Here's the truth. This creamer contains about 2% almonds. 2%. The rest, water, sugar, oils, and stabilizers. The primary problem is added sugar. Each tablespoon contains roughly 5 grams. Most people use 3 tablespoons without thinking. That's 15 grams of sugar before breakfast. For seniors managing diabetes, pre-diabetes metabolic syndrome, that's a major hit to blood sugar control. And unlike sugar in whole foods, this sugar comes without fiber, protein, or fat to slow absorption. It hits fast, spikes glucose, triggers insulin, then crashes. Next issue, gums and thickeners. Silk uses gellan gum and locust bean gum to give body and texture. While generally considered safe, aging digestive systems often struggle with these additives. Seniors commonly report gas that won't go away, stomach cramping, loose stools, or urgency. And because it's plant-based, they don't suspect the creamer. Now let's address the biggest misconception. Plant-based does not mean heart healthy. This creamer contains almost no protein, no meaningful healthy fats, no fiber. You get none of the benefits of real almonds. No vitamin E, no magnesium, no monounsaturated fats, just sugar water with almond flavoring. It's marketed towards seniors worried about cholesterol, but it offers zero cardiovascular protection and adds metabolic stress instead. The packaging suggests wellness. The reality is empty calories that quietly work against blood sugar, energy, and digestion. And if you think premium plant-based brands fix these problems, next we expose 2 high-end creamers that charge more while delivering inflammation and hidden risks. Califia Farms Hazelnut Almond Milk Creamer, avoid. This one looks premium. The bottle is sleek, minimalist, modern. It feels like something you'd see in a high-end cafe, not a grocery store refrigerator. And the price reflects that. Many seniors assume, if it costs more, it must be better. Unfortunately, that assumption backfires here. The second ingredient in Califia Farms hazelnut almond milk creamer is sunflower oil. That's a problem. Sunflower oil is a highly processed seed oil that oxidizes quickly once opened. Oxidized oils promote inflammation, especially in older bodies where antioxidant defenses are already weaker. Think about your routine. You open the bottle, put it in the fridge, use a splash each morning. That bottle might sit there for 2 or 3 weeks. During that time, the oil degrades. Each pour adds oxidized fat to your coffee. Inflammation increases quietly. Joint stiffness worsens. Brain fog becomes more noticeable. Arteries become less flexible. Your brain is nearly 60% fat. It is especially sensitive to poor quality fats. Next issue, pea protein isolate. This sounds healthy, but isolates are not whole foods. They're chemically extracted and often difficult for seniors to digest. Many older adults report bloating gas that lasts for hours, abdominal pressure. Not after a big meal, after coffee. Then there's the most deceptive ingredient of all, natural flavors. This phrase tells you nothing. It can mean dozens of undisclosed lab-created compounds. If you have sensitivities or allergies, you have no way to identify the trigger. Some seniors notice scratchy throat, mild rashes, headaches, and never think to blame the creamer. Finally, quality control. Consumers consistently report batch inconsistency. One bottle pours smooth, the next separates in clumps. That's a sign of unstable emulsifiers and weak manufacturing standards. Premium price, premium marketing, non-premium safety. Califia sells an image of wellness while delivering inflammatory fats and digestive stress in a fashionable bottle. And now, let's talk about a creamer that doesn't even pretend to be healthy. Dunkin' Donuts. Extra, extra creamer. Avoid. This one is pure nostalgia. If you've ever ordered extra, extra, you already know the taste. Sweet. Creamy. Comforting. Dunkin' bottled that flavor and brought it straight into your refrigerator. But here's the blunt truth. Dunkin' Extra Extra Creamer is liquid sugar. Each tablespoon contains about 6 grams of sugar. Most people use 3 to 4 tablespoons. That's 18 to 24 grams of sugar in 1 cup of coffee. That's more sugar than many desserts. And it hits fast. Your blood glucose spikes sharply. Your pancreas floods insulin. Then, inevitably, the crash. For seniors, that crash feels like sudden fatigue, shakiness, irritability, trouble concentrating. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, this is metabolic chaos. But sugar isn't the only issue. This creamer also contains phosphate additives, specifically sodium phosphate. Phosphates are dangerous for aging kidneys. Seniors with chronic kidney disease, reduced kidney function, high blood pressure should avoid added phosphates whenever possible. Yet there is no warning on the label. The texture should also raise concern. It pours thick, almost syrup-like. That thickness comes from stabilizers and gums, not cream. It coats your mouth, making your brain think it's indulgent. That's deliberate. Food scientists design it to override satiety signals and keep you pouring. Some FDA inspection records even flagged label inconsistencies, where calorie and sugar counts differed between bottles from the same batch. If the label can't be trusted, how can the product? Dunkin' promises coffee shop comfort at home. What it delivers is a daily sugar bomb that undermines blood sugar control, stresses kidneys, and fuels inflammation, 1 cup at a time. And if you're thinking, surely the natural versions are better? Next, we expose 2 creamers that sound wholesome, but maybe just as problematic, if not worse. Offie Mate Natural Bliss Vanilla. Avoid. This one feels like a step up. The word natural is front and center. The bottle shows milk pouring smoothly, vanilla beans, soft colors, calm design. It sends a clear message. This is safer. This is cleaner. This is better. But for seniors, Natural Bliss Vanilla comes with its own set of problems, especially as the body ages. Let's start with sugar. Each tablespoon contains about 5 grams of added sugar. Most people use 3 tablespoons without thinking. That's 15 grams of sugar in your coffee before breakfast. For seniors managing blood pressure, diabetes, or pre-diabetes, weight gain around the midsection. This matters. Unlike sugar in whole foods, this sugar comes with no fiber, no protein, and no nutrients to slow absorption. It hits your bloodstream fast, spikes insulin, and sets the stage for fatigue later in the morning. Now let's talk about lactose intolerance, something many seniors don't realize develops with age. Over 60% of adults over 60 produce less lactase, the enzyme needed to digest dairy. That means this creamer can cause bloating gas, cramping loose stools. Many seniors think, dairy never bothered me before, so they never suspect the creamer. But bodies change. And here's a quiet but serious issue: spoilage risk. Because natural bliss uses fewer preservatives, it spoils faster than artificial creamers. Seniors with reduced sense of smell may not notice sour notes, early curdling off textures, until after they've already poured it. Consuming spoiled dairy can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, which is far more dangerous at 65 than at 35. Many consumer reviews mention curdling days before the expiration date, pointing to inconsistent refrigeration and handling in the supply chain. Natural Bliss charges a premium for the word natural but delivers high sugar digestive distress, faster spoilage. It's not poison, but it's not senior friendly either. And unfortunately, the final creamer on our list is the worst of them all: International Delight Caramel Macchiato. Avoid worst offender. This is the bottom of the barrel, the most dangerous creamer on the shelf. International Delight Caramel Macchiato combines every single problem we've discussed into one bottle. Let's break it down. First, sugar. Each tablespoon contains 5 grams. 3 tablespoons equals 15 grams. But many people pour more, especially with caramel flavors. That sugar hits your bloodstream like a hammer. Then comes the ingredient list: water, sugar, palm oil, sodium caseinate, dipotassium phosphate, carrageenan, artificial flavors, caramel color. That caramel color isn't harmless. It's produced using a process that creates 4-MEI, a compound California lists as a potential carcinogen under Proposition 65. You won't see that warning on most bottles. For seniors drinking this daily, sometimes for decades, exposure accumulates. Next, palm oil. This is a highly saturated fat that raises LDL, bad cholesterol, increases artery stiffness, works directly against heart medications. Think of it like pouring grease into plumbing and wondering why it clogs. Then there's phosphate additives. These strain aging kidneys and are especially dangerous for seniors with kidney disease, high blood pressure, cardiovascular issues. And finally, the most disturbing issue: addict. The brand promises coffeehouse indulgence. What it delivers is sugar overload, inflammatory fats, kidney stress, long-term chemical exposure, all disguised as a morning treat. Before we move on, take a second. Which creamer have you been using? Drop it in the comments. You're not alone, and your experience could help another senior avoid making the same mistake. Up next, finally, the good news: the 2 coffee creamers that are actually safe and won't sabotage your health. The 2 coffee creamers that are actually safe. After everything you've just heard, it's fair to ask, is there anything safe left to put in my coffee? The answer is yes, but only if you keep it very simple. Most creamers fail because they're engineered for addiction, shelf life, and profit, not your health. The 2 options I'm about to share work because they do the opposite. They don't try to trick your body. Safe option number 1, nut pods. Original unsweetened. This is one of the cleanest options available today. Nut pods. Original unsweetened contains almonds, coconuts, a small amount of acacia gum. That's it. No sugar, no artificial sweeteners, no carrageenan, no seed oils. The creaminess comes from real fats, not chemicals. That matters, especially for seniors. Here's why Nut Pods works well for older adults. No blood sugar spikes. Safe for diabetics and pre-diabetics. No interference with heart or blood pressure medications. Gentle on digestion. No bloating, no cramping. Consistent quality. Bottle after bottle tastes the same. And here's something important: because it's unsweetened, your taste buds slowly reset. After a week or 2, you start tasting the coffee again. The bitterness softens naturally. Those overly sweet creamers start tasting fake. Many seniors report more stable energy, less morning fatigue, less craving for sugar later in the day. Your coffee becomes a pleasure again, not a metabolic hit. Safe option number 2, plain half and half, used carefully. This surprises people. Yes, plain half and half can be safer than most creamers. Why? Because it's honest. Ingredients: milk cream. No gums, no oils, no flavor chemicals. If you tolerate dairy and use 1 small splash, half and half can be a better option than natural creamers loaded with sugar and additives. Important rules for seniors: use small amounts. Keep it very fresh. Stop immediately if you notice bloating or discomfort. For many people, simplicity wins. The fewer ingredients, the fewer problems. Let's take a breath for a moment. This video isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Coffee creamer shouldn't be a health risk. But for millions of seniors, it quietly has been. You did nothing wrong. You trusted labels. You trusted familiar brands. You followed routines built over decades. The problem is an industry that learned how to exploit habit and nostalgia. Now you know better. You know why sugar free doesn't mean safe, why plant based doesn't mean healthy, why natural is often just a marketing word. And most importantly, you know that small daily choices matter more than big promises. A splash of the wrong creamer every morning adds up. So does a safer choice. You don't need perfection. You don't need to overhaul everything. Just choose better when you can. Before we wrap up, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not behind, you are not careless, and you are not alone. Millions of Americans, especially seniors, have been using these creamers for decades. They were marketed as harmless, comforting, familiar. Morning routines are powerful. They feel safe. They feel earned. And companies count on that trust. What matters is not what you used yesterday. What matters is what you choose tomorrow morning. And here's the good news. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need expensive superfoods. You don't need fear-based rules. You just need fewer chemicals and more honesty in your food. Coffee should wake you up, not work against your heart, your blood sugar, or your medications. A simple switch can mean fewer glucose spikes, more stable energy through the morning, less inflammation, fewer digestive issues, better medication consistency. That's not hype. That's biology. And remember, progress at this stage of life is about reducing harm, not chasing perfection. Now, let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about it. How many mornings have you poured something into your coffee without ever reading the label? Most of us have. That changes today. If this video helped you understand what's actually going into your body each morning, please do 3 simple things. Subscribe so you don't miss future videos that break down everyday products like this video. It helps other seniors find this information. Comment below, what creamer are you switching from? And what are you switching to? Thanks for spending this time with me.